Hey everybody, welcome to my session, how to niche and streamline your processes. Still, we're dealt with a few technical difficulties this morning, mostly self-inflicted. So I love technology, but maybe not always the best at it, but here we are. I'm not quite sure how to figure out how many of you are in the session, but I see a bunch of you saying hi, that's awesome. It would be great if you add in there, a quick hello, where you're from. I'm personally in Marin County, just over the Golden Gate Bridge in California, and I'm happy to be joining you guys today and providing this session on how to niche and streamline your processes. This is the accounting specific stream, so hopefully you're in the right place and that's what you're supposed to be looking for. Quick little update of the session today. We're gonna have a quick introduction, meaning who am I and why should you be listening to me. We're gonna then jump into the importance of niches. We're gonna deep dive the process improvement and then do some wrap up and hopefully have a lot of time for some Q&As at the end. A lot of cool places coming out here, Northern Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Alaska, Northern Ontario and Canada. Hi from the Central Valley, I like that one. LA, all over the place. So it's good to see you all today. And hopefully by the end of this, I've added some value to your lives. And you can find out why I believe it is so important to niche because of all the value that I've received from our niche over the last almost 11 years. So let me introduce myself. My name is Zane Stevens. As it puts out there, I am a husband, a father, a soccer coach, and I started a little business that is a specialist in the wine industry. It's always interesting to try find out about speakers and who they are. But I started off there with three of the most important parts of my life, which is being a husband. I got an amazing wife, Candace, that supports me on a daily basis. She also happens to be an accountant and works in the business with me. I'm a father. I have two amazing boys. They're 7 and 8, huge athletes, take up so much of my time running around with sports for them. They're both in competitive gymnastics. They play soccer, they play baseball, they play flag football. They play all the sports under the sun. And then I'm a soccer coach. I coach both their rec teams as well as I am the VP of rec soccer here in Nevada in Marin County. And I run a league for 1,100 kids every fall. It's really a full-time job, but I add that on top of my day job. And what you want to be learning more about is what my day job is. So in March 2014, with a little bit of stumbling and falling, me and my business partners, we decided we'll start a business that is an accounting business. And from day one, just because where we were focused, we ran into the world of we're going to provide services, what they call CAS, to different winery clients. And for 11 and a half years, going on to 10 and a half years, going on 11 years, we've been focusing in on the wine industry and growing a little business. We're currently a team of 41 people. We look after over 150 wineries. We sort of invoice about 170 people on a monthly basis. And our goal is to go out there and provide exceptional accounting services to these small wineries that wouldn't really have enough work to hire a full-time person, and to provide them with timely, accurate, and efficient accounting information to allow them to make better business decisions. And we were able to do this with a little bit of luck, but also with very much the idea of going in and saying, who are we going to help? And what specific services are we going to offer? What we really realized really early on is that we don't have to be the everything for everyone, but rather we can be something special for a very specific portion of the market. And that bit of focus helped us really, focus in on what we want to do and how we can be successful. I added this slide. I thought it was pretty cool. Financial Sense has done some really great stuff for the speakers to allow us to sort of promote our sessions. And they asked me, what does freedom mean to me? And I'm just the sock crazy. I love spending time with my kids. So for me, what freedom meant was finding time to be able to coach soccer. Now that is probably a referee's jersey more than a coach's jersey, but I do like it. It makes me look a lot better, prettier, nicer than I would generally think I look like. So that's always a bonus when AI makes you look pretty. Took out all the wrinkles in my face, made me look a little bit younger and probably a little slimmer than I actually am as well. So thank you for Financial Sense for making me look like the best version of myself. So let's get into it. This is what we're going to try and achieve in the session today. I want you guys to understand what is a niche, or maybe some of you guys call it a niche. Probably should have said a poll question, is it niche or niche? I'm going to say niche all the time. So for those who don't like that, I am really sorry if that's going to irritate you. That's the way I talk. Maybe it's something to do with me originally coming from South Africa. We're going to talk about the benefits of a niche and then how it helps with your processes. So let's get started with the first question of what is a niche? Achieve and what you're looking for. So the pure definition of a niche is a specialized segment of a market or for a particular kind of product or service. So it really is simple as a niche is a group of people or businesses that you can identify fairly easily. So for us, it's wine industry clients. Fairly simple. That could be whatever it is, right? It could be as broad as I want a niche with small businesses. I want a niche with middle market businesses. Or it could be, as detailed as I want to niche into a space where people produce pop rivets. They've been doing it for 20 years and they need strategic advice. So your niche can be fairly broad, but it can also be really, really thin as well. I see some questions are coming in already. Charlene has asked, hey, what is a good process for deciding on a niche? I'm starting up. The thought of choosing a niche is terrifying. And we're going to get to that. That's one of my slides coming up. So it's a good sort of segue into where we're going. Shannon asks, I love having a specific niche. It makes it a lot easier to find clients. I will 100% agree with that. It is one of the benefits of having a niche is that you know who you're looking for. And if you know who you're looking for, it makes, that whole business of who do I talk to a little bit easier. So let's keep moving on in through our slides. And the next slide up is picking a niche. So if you want a niche, it's obviously a really important thing. But one of the things that I want to tell everybody right now, and hey, maybe this is for you, Charlene, you do not have to figure out your niche on day one. You might have an idea of what your niche is, but you don't have to run headfirst into it. I don't care what any other expert out there says. I promise you, you'll be fine if you sort of try a few things on the way there. If you are a little bit more broad, if you are a little bit nervous, maybe you've got the word there, terrifying, you're a little bit scared of just running headfirst into a niche. That can be scary. It can be limiting. So you don't have to pick your niche on day one, but it is helpful if you've got a sense of where you want to go, because it allows you to set up goals and stepping stones and milestones along the way to eventually find that niche. So I've got a question for you guys that I'm going to answer, which is how did I found our niche? And here's the truth. In the beginning, we sort of had a niche, but we didn't really have one. Realistically, I came from the wine space working as a consultant, before I started working in the accounting firm, before I decided, hey, Protea Financial is a real thing. We're going to get started. We want to build this company to help wineries. So inevitably, our first few clients happened to be wineries. But we did not say on day one, we will only help wineries. But what we could show to people that were referral sources, we work with wineries and we understand the space. But we did take on clients in different areas. I took on an attorney firm, I took on a music festival, I took on a beauty product company, and we went with that. Realistically, in the beginning, even though about 70% of our clients were wine industry related clients, or we had some sort of spin on the wine space. The beauty product company was a vintner who decided to start their own beauty brand. So there was some connection. But really, we were generalists, and we took on every client we could because we needed to survive. Because in the beginning, I did have one team member, which is a part-time person, but my salary was dependent on how many hours I could sell. And I needed to make money. I needed to make some money. Else I would go home with nothing. And I didn't have a nest egg. I was fresh in this country from another country where the exchange rate is 19-1. So it didn't matter how much of that money I had. It wasn't worth much, especially in a market like California where it's pretty pricey to live. So we were generalists. And we were generalists probably for the first 3 years. Then we lost what at the time was our largest client, that was a non-wine client. And the reason we lost it, we helped them get sold to a massive listed company, helped them through the diligence, gained a bunch of experience. And it allowed us at that point in time to sit back and go, what do we want this business to look like going forward? Where do we think we can add the most value? And where do we think we can help the most because we have a ton of expertise? Looking at our portfolio, looking at the experience of our team, looking at the place where we've done the best work, it became obvious to us that we had created expertise in the wine space, and this is a niche that we should follow through on. At that point, we said, great, we are now wine industry accountants. We changed our marketing, we changed our website, we started changing the words we used when we talked to other people about our services. So it took us 3 years before we really leaned in and said, we are wine industry accountants. We did not decide on day one, hey, we have to niche. We sort of niched, right? 70% of our clients. So we went a little bit broader, and then we focused in really, really tight. And in the last 2 years, we've still got that very tight niche. We focus on the wine industry, but we've gone a little bit broader. We've started helping other alcohol beverage clients. The reason we're able to do that is because the wine industry is the most complicated alcohol beverage industry out there, because it has extremely complicated inventory costing. They talk their own language, and they live in a different world to most people. It is just different. But we've learned how to speak to those people, and we've been able to then leverage our expertise in the space of alcohol beverage, that is the wine space, to share that with other companies. Now we look after like 7 non-wine alcohol companies. Maybe we grow in that, maybe we don't, but as it stands, all our marketing is still wine industry focused, and we still call ourselves wine industry accountants. And I just had a conversation with my team in this last week to ask them, hey, do we still believe that this is our niche? And the overwhelming answer, there was actually nobody that said no to this, said, yes, we are wine industry experts. This is where we can add the most value, and we need to continue to focus in on that niche. So if we come back to that question, Charlene, sometimes it's just a little bit of dumb luck on how you find your niche. What I can say to you is look at your past experiences to see where you have good expertise Understand what you like doing. That will help you figuring out your services. And if you've got any space that you have a passion for, look at that and say, hey, I've got a passion for X, Y, and Z. Do I think there are people in the area of X, Y, and Z that I could help? I already talk their language, so let me go help them with accounting services. Let's get to the nitty-gritty of this. What are the benefits of a niche? And there are a lot of them. I've added a few over here, and I've probably touched a little bit on them as well as I was speaking about how our decision came about in creating a niche. But this is all really important. Expertise and specialization is one of the biggest benefits, from a client-facing standpoint. For me, be able to step in front of a winemaker and have a conversation in words that he understands. Be able to have a conversation in the language that makes sense to him. For sure, we both speak English, but I speak accountant, he speaks wine. But because I've been working in this space for so long, I have learned the language of wine and I can talk in the terminologies that make sense to them. And I see this all the time in, small places like, people ask me, what size revenue does your clients have? And I go, it doesn't really matter because it's the wine industry. Most of our clients produce 2.5 to 4,500 cases of wine. Cases is how they talk about revenue, because you could have wine selling at $15 a bottle and you could have wine selling at $150 a bottle. If they both produce 2,500 cases, their revenue be very different, but their problems are pretty much the same because they are similar because of the case production. Next benefit of niching is a competitive advantage. I've found that going into a meeting and be able to tell people that we're experts and tell them we have over 150 winery clients is a huge advantage. People want to believe that the people they're talking to understand their space and will be able to understand what they're talking about and make sure that they are providing the correct insight. As it stands, as far as I'm aware, we're one of the largest winery experts out there, both on team size, 41 of us, as well as client size, over 150, not including any, traditional CPA firms that have tax work and they maybe do a little bit of CAS work for them on the sideline. For specialized accounting services to the wine industry, we are the biggest, and that is a competitive advantage because it gives us an opportunity to have conversations that a lot of people are not able to even get in the door. Client trust and relationships is really important. Once we get into those relationships, them understanding that we're focused on their wine space, that we're learning about their industry, we're taking, paying attention to what's happening in their space, making adjustments, providing them with content and education in their space, builds trust and builds long-term relationships. At Protea, we almost have no turnover. Our turnover rate on clients is about 10%. And most of that 10% is people going out of business or getting sold. People trust us because they see that we believe in their industry and want to help their space. Number 4 on this list is marketing and branding. Honestly, this has been pretty eye-opening. When I got into the space, I knew nothing about marketing and branding at all. I probably know very little at this point as well, but I know more than I did when I first started out. What I can tell you is having a niche makes my messaging so much simpler. Accountant for the wine industry. If you go to my LinkedIn, it starts with the accountant to the wine industry. It makes my branding pretty simple. I can put pretty pictures like those wine bottles with some glasses up there on all my pages. People understand this is what we're doing. They go to my website, they understand that we're working in the wine industry, we're yet to help wineries out. It allows me to focus in on where am I going to spend my time. Oh, I'm going to go to wine industry conferences where I can find referral sources and clients. Pretty easy. And then I can talk about it from a marketing and branding standpoint as well. It simplifies marketing and branding And the more you can simplify in your business, the easier it becomes to run that business. If you niche, you've got a good chance of getting higher fees and revenues, 100%, because you can show value. You can show them the value that you've added to previous clients and what value you can add to them in the future. Focus professional development, very important. We require our teams to attend wine industry conferences on a regular basis, make sure they're listening to what's happening in that space, learn about the wine industry, big changes coming their way, the effects that it would have on their clients. Really helps not just focus on their accounting education, but their business education as well by sending them to very specific industry conferences. It improves who they are, but also improves their knowledge to be able to help their clients. And the big one, because we're all here at Workflow Con and we're trying to figure out how do we make our lives easier, having a niche creates efficiency and productivity. And if you think about it, if I have 5 clients and I'm doing a reporting pack for each 5 clients, if they're all in the same industry, I can standardize those processes, roll it through, and I can provide insights based on one industry. If I'm doing that for 5 different industries, now all of a sudden I got to think, oh gracious, what's important to these 5 different industries and how do that change the reporting pack that I'm going to send to these business owners? How do I change this reporting pack so that the business owners that are looking at it understand that we're thinking about their industry? All of a sudden that takes a lot longer because now I have a bunch more templates, got to make sure I use the right one. I've got to change my mindset. Who am I working with? What is this client thinking about? What's important to them? Tons of work. So if you can streamline it, you can be more efficient, you can be more productive, you can help more people and roll up there to the top. Higher fees and revenues come with being more productive. So I put in this one here, and it's a big line. Having a niche allows you to streamline, and this is important. This year at Protea, as a part of our 10-year celebration, we've decided that we're going to go and make sure that every one of our processes is re-documented in a new format to make sure that we have the best process in place, taking into account all the learnings over all of our clients, and share that with our team as the standard operating procedure. We've gone from simple things as clearing an email through to more complicated items like inventory costing. It is great to be able to have a situation where we have 150 clients that have 10 processes each, and those processes look the same over every single client. It makes it easier for us if somebody gets sick for somebody to step in and do that process. It makes it easier for us if somebody leaves the company for another opportunity for some other team member to step in and just take on that work. And it makes it a lot easier for us to set up clients in the beginning and start working as quick as possible. Because we all know that changing accountants is hard work. People don't like it. Accounting services can be sticky. But if you can create processes that are streamlined so that you can step in quickly and help them out as efficiently and as fast as possible, that's a major, major win. It allows you to create those relationships, those long-lasting relationships, because people are like, wow, this is impressive. So it's something to think about, improving those as much as possible. If you guys have any questions along the way, feel free to drop them in the Q&A session. Happy to take a look at that. Hopefully I've answered Charlene's question along the way. But if you've got any more questions, I'd love to answer them. So feel free to drop that in. So we're going to talk about the whole concept of streamlined processes for efficiency. Because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do as accountants is be as efficient as possible to provide the best product to our clients. And the more efficient you are, the more it gives you time to do things for yourself in the business. So, if you're a business owner, maybe you're a solopreneur or you have a small team, you need to find that time to work on the business. You also might need to do some marketing, and maybe you actually want to spend some time with friends and family. So if you're efficient, you can use that efficiency to create time for yourself to be able to do other things that are really important to you in your life and in your business. We can't create more time. We all only have 24 hours in a day. But if we are creating efficiencies, we can create a situation where we have more available minutes in the day. And those more available minutes can be used in any way that we feel necessary. We can think back to my picture of me in the yellow shirt coaching soccer. I love that twice a week I finish work at 3:30 in the afternoon and head off to go coach soccer. It makes me happy. I use those minutes that we've created through the efficiencies in our processes to be able to do that. So before we get into all of that, let's see what else we got here. We've got a question that says, so as smaller accounting firms, would you turn away people who don't fit your niche and lose out on income? So I did mention at the beginning of our business, we didn't turn people away. We took them on. In hindsight, probably shouldn't have taken them all on, because what I quickly realized is you can't help everybody. And if I stray too far away from what we're good at, it becomes really difficult. So what I should have realized in the beginning when I wasn't turning clients away is that what sets us apart from other practices is our ability to do complex inventory costing. So what I should have realized then is that, hey, maybe I take on different industries, but I should at least focus in on our biggest selling point is being exceptional cost accountants and only take on clients that need cost accounting. So what I should have done in the beginning, and maybe this is something that will help you to decide which clients to take out, is figure out, is there a service that you're exceptional at and that you want to offer to clients? And use that as your first niche. And once you've figured out this is the services I'm really good at, you can figure out which industry needs those services the most and then offer that service offering to that specific niche. So that way you get to focus in on what you're good at, as well as focusing in on a space that you really like. Sure. Let me see. I just lose some questions. I have especially, how would you have advertised? Seems like you'd been able to draw those new clients. Also seems tricky so as not to exclude clients. What the thing is, I don't think we need to think about not excluding clients. We need to be really thinking about how do we help people? I've always been a believer in revenue is important. Obviously, we all need it, but I'm more interested in how many people can I help and how many people can I truly add value to it. So when we came to the advertising standpoint, and I use that word very loosely because we didn't initially advertise. What we did is we understood who the other professionals are in the space that we're serving, the wine industry, and made sure I got to meet as many of them as possible. So to this day, 75% of our referrals come in from CPA tax providers, as well as bankers that serve the wine industry. And I go and I spend as much time with these CPA firms, as well as these bankers, to remind them who we are, what we do, and how we can help them do their job better. So for tax providers, we can give you really good accounting records that have been converted from accrual to cash basis so that you can do a tax return really quickly and improve your recoveries. For the banker, we can say we can give you accurate financial information that we believe is complete in a format that you're used to looking at so that it makes your life easier when you're going to your credit department to request the loan for that client. So we don't only just focus in on what's good for our client and how we help them, but we advertise by making sure that other professionals in the space understand how we can make their jobs easier. Okay, let's carry on with some of these slides, and then we'll come back to some more questions. There's a lot of good questions in there, and they keep flowing in, so thank you. I appreciate that. Streamlining processes for efficiency. It saves you time, allows you to scale, improves accuracy, happier team, and gives you back your freedom. I love the give you back the freedom portion. I love having the time for myself to be able to do things that I love. But what's most important on that list is happier team. Because I'm a team of 41. That's including myself. That means there's 40 other people at Protea Financial that are critical to our success. And what I can tell you is happier people are more productive people. You can't control what's happening in their personal life, but you can make their lives at work as good as possible so they're excited to come to their job and add the value. So focus in on that. You create these processes, it makes their life easier. There's less thinking because they're doing repetitively. They can focus in on improvement, just makes everything easier, and they are just a happier team for it. A couple of reasons to streamline: process mapping and documentation. That's critical. I just spoke about it. We're creating SOPs, right? We use that to build into our practice management so that people go in, they understand what they need to do on a daily basis, makes everything easier. It allows you to focus on automation and technology integration. It allows you to focus on continuous improvement in the areas that you specialize in. So we do a lot of improvement on inventory costing that side of the business. That's really important. Allows us for training and upskilling to be very focused. We have a ton of information. We know what is important to clients and what they should be achieving at a gross margin, return on income, what their assets should look like, how much inventory they should be holding. So we can use that data to leverage our conversations and our feedback to our clients on how they can improve. And the final one there is better collaboration and communication, which is just so important. I am a big believer in communication. If you go follow me on LinkedIn, I talk about it once a week. You go to my YouTube channel, I talk about it all the time. But communication is great. We're a remote team in 2 different countries. But you would think we're all sitting right next to each other communicating. And we're able to do that because our processes are similar. We're able to talk about it pretty simply. Let's have a look, a couple more questions in here. When you started with a niche, you mentioned you took everyone, but how did you attract those clients? When you didn't have 150 clients to use your sales pitch? I use my network as much as possible. Developing a network is really important. So going to network events, using my business partners, networks to be able to talk. Like I said, we did take on everyone, but still 70% of our clients were wine industry related. So we still had a major focus on it. So we were still able to talk about a large portion of our book is very specific, and we have the knowledge. And because my business owners are non-accountants and they're consultants in the wine space, I also had the backing of very good professionals. So developing good relationships with other professionals helped us a lot and continues to do to this day. I get to know who all the major CFOs are out there, all the major fractional CEOs. I try and collaborate with as many people as possible because their knowledge is my knowledge. We're only got a couple of minutes left, so let's just roll through my slides. Oh, questions. That's perfect. We can just carry on with questions. So let's see. What did I miss here? One more, yeah. Any advice on getting into a niche like the wine industry when no prior experience in that industry? So yes, facts, right? I had 9 weeks of experience in the wine industry when I started a wine industry accounting business. Did I have any sense that it would be a 150 plus client business at some point in the time? Not really, but that didn't really matter. What I understood is that the wine industry had some specific needs. They needed good accounting. I could do that. I'm a chartered accountant. I ran a 25-person accounting team for a listed company. I know good accounting. I also understood they had a specialized need in cost accounting. I started in the automotive space at KPMG, did 4 years with them, focusing in a lot of inventory work, a lot of auditing of it, a lot of consulting in that space. So I knew I had two skill sets that would be great for the wine industry: good, accurate accounting, good, accurate costing, very specialized. I took that and said, hey, I might not be the wine industry expert. I will learn about your industry, but I have very important skills that would make a big difference to your business. And I'm going to give you the best version of them every single time so that you have better data to make better decisions, to give you an opportunity to stay in business. Probably time for one last question. So let's see how it goes. How do you suggest niching down when you have a broad base of clients? What do you do with the existing clients? So I would always focus in on which of those do you love working with, or which ones do you have the most of. In terms of the existing clients, you got to make a decision. You can either move some of them onto maybe some other partners, refer them onto other accountants that could help them, or just assume they're grandfathered in and keep them around and understand that you're going to grow your niche around it. So maybe you have 5 clients with one that's not in your industry. Now you have 10 with one. So your percentage of your niche just gets bigger and bigger. You don't necessarily have to get rid of it. I still have some clients that have been with us for 10 years that are not wine industry. They're like 6 hours a month. I'm not going to get rid of them. It doesn't take too much out of a time. It doesn't take my focus away. I believe I'm out of time. I see some notes coming through me, but this has been the session, and there's a little bit of financial sense, all the questions. But if you have more questions on any of niching, how to improve, how to start an accounting business in general, I'm more than happy to have those conversations. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's the best way to get hold of me. I'm happy to jump on a phone call, have a conversation with you, and we can talk about niching forever and ever and ever. So thank you all for your time. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of Workflow Con, and have a wonderful day further.